Niecy came in. I don't know if you ever heard the story of her audition for us. She was late, and she came in. So I don't know if she was purposefully unprepared, but it was the most brilliant audition I had ever seen in my life. You can't even call it an audition. She walked in and took over the building. She started doing this character. She explained why she was late, what had happened with her car, what had happened with her mother that morning. I fell, hand to God, I fell off my chair laughing.
Oh my God.
Hand to God. She later told the story on a talk show. She said that someone asked her mother asked her when she got home, how did the audition go? And she said, well, I made a white lady fall off her chair. So I think it went pretty well.
It's Breaking Bread. If you haven't joined our Patreon yet, you really should. It's pretty great. You get stuff from the road. You get extra downloads after the episode. Lots of cool content. Go over to patreon.com and look up our podcast. And we'd love to see you over there. And for those of you who have already signed up, we'll see you there in a little bit. We'd like to thank the good people at Wild Grain for sponsoring today's show. If I look a little sunburnt, I am. Wild Grain is the first bake from frozen subscription box for artisanal breads and pastries and pastas. Are you ready to bring all of your favorite carbs to your doorstep? Be sure to check out Wild Grain so you can begin building your own box of artisanal breads, pastas, and pastries. For a limited time, Wild Grain is offering our listeners $30 off their first box, plus free croissants. Come on, free croissants with every box when you go to wildgrain.com/papa. That's PAPA to start your subscription. You heard me, free croissants in every box when you go to wildgrain.com/papa. wildgrain.com/PAPA. And that is, or you could just go and use the promo code PAPA at checkout and you will get all of this goodness. We love Wild Grain. It's good stuff. It's good to have on hand. Thank you for doing this.
Oh, thank you for having me.
You're having a nice little moment right now.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
This is a nice little moment.
Oh, yeah?
I was a little starstruck when I walked in and saw the set. Not the set, the real restaurant that we're in a basement in Hoboken, I want to say.
Yeah, we're in Hoboken.
Right.
Yeah, there's like a clam house upstairs.
Fried clams. My dad and I used to go to Howard Johnson's in Times Square for fried clams.
No.
That memory just popped up.
That is amazing. Where'd you grow up?
New York City and Connecticut. My dad was in Manhattan. My mom was in Connecticut.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
It was pretty cool. All the fried clams from Howard Johnson's you could eat.
Oh, my God. I remember the Howard Johnson's in Times Square.
It was a thing.
Yeah.
Almost everyone I speak to of a certain generation, that was a thing to do. We would go there before the theater.
Oh, man. So, not to throw shade in any direction.
Yeah.
What was it like coming? Because I know I had a friend whose parents had an apartment in New York, in Manhattan, and when we went there at 12, and they just let us run around, we were like, "This is probably. I don't think we're ever going to feel cooler than we do right now."
I don't know. I never felt cool because it just was my existence.
Yeah.
And I had, braces and a headgear.
Yeah.
It's really, I don't think I ever had
safe,
a
though.
moment of feeling cool. But yeah, the idea of it is very cool.
Were you allowed to run free?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I was. It was different. It's funny because the city was more dangerous.
Yeah.
But we were able to go risk our lives.
Yeah.
Freer.
Yeah, they kind of figured we would figure it out, I guess.
And some of us did.
We would get a bunch of quarters and we would go to the arcades.
Yeah.
And I remember I was playing and this guy kept giving me quarters. And I was like, this is great. People are so friendly in New York.
This guy.
And then, my buddy was like, all right, dude, it's time to go. I was like, oh, he wants to be my friend, this old man. And and he followed us out. And he was like, "Where you going? Where you going?" And we started running, and he came after us for a couple blocks, and then we were out, and we were laughing the whole time. We were laughing. It was like we could have been just kidnapped and who knows what. But to your point, we never told our parents about it.
No, because they wouldn't let you go back to that arcade.
We didn't think it was that big of a deal. We were almost snatched off the street.
Gosh, Tom.
But you just kind of dealt with it.
You just sparked a memory that I had forgotten about. It sounds like I'm making this up based on your being chased down the street by a man. But something similar happened to me in Connecticut. A girlfriend and I were going to the beach. We were probably like 10 or 11 years old.
Right.
We were by ourselves, walking down the street in the summer, going to the beach. And a van pulled up. I can't believe I'm telling you that. I haven't thought of this in decades. A van pulled up, and it stopped, and the back two doors opened, and there were curtains so you couldn't see in, but just dead roses flew out the back at us, and an arm reached out to grab us, and we instinctively giggled.
Yeah.
And just ran away with our towels in our little copper tone bodies.
In your flip-flops.
And ran back to the house and had a good giggle about it. Never told my parents.
Yeah. Yeah, you just dealt with it.
There were a lot of people running after children in the streets back in the day.
It's really funny, like when you say it, like, in comedy, like there's a lot of people like will make a funny reference about a van, coming to pick you up. But that came out of reality.
Yeah.
That's really what was kind of going on.
Maybe it was the same guy.
The roses move is weird.
The roses. That's what made me stop for a second and think. Did I just make this up? Did I go? Oh yeah, I have a story like that too, Tom. But mine has something cooler in it.
It is a weird move.
Yeah, it's a weird move.
Yeah.
I wonder if that move got some kids like they're,
Yeah, I mean, because that was also a time when they were putting people on milk cartons and
this
saying,
was the time.
Have you seen these kids?
Right.
And we're more frightened as parents now than our parents were.
Oh.
But there's no milk carton kids.
No.
Shout out to my buddies at the milk carton kids.
Great band name.
It is a band.
Oh, it already is.
Yeah.
What I meant to say was, I love your band name. I know it well.
So, like, is it more dangerous now out on the streets for kids?
Apparently not. But we just know more. I don't know, because we don't know what's true anymore, Tom.
That's the biggest
You don't know where to
thing.
check what's the statistic. Listen, my son is almost 20 years old, so he grew out of his leash.
Right. I have a 20.
Yeah, you have a 20.
I have a 20. She's home for the summer.
Yeah, me too. My son's home for the summer.
They're great, but they're the first generation to like really go through heavy social media and COVID, and they definitely dealt with stuff that we didn't like. It was pretty basic to run from creepy people on the streets.
That wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah,
I
you could deal with it. We're faster than them.
It was something to giggle about at a slumber party.
But now to be like have all this social media stuff.
No, it's harder for them.
Yeah, it is harder.
Yeah.
So when you were a kid, were you enamored by Broadway and like going to see plays?
I just can't wait for more memories to pop. Already, I've thought of the clam strips in Times Square and dead flowers being thrown in my face. I'm just going to sit here all day and relive.
Yeah.
We did go to a lot of plays. Yeah, my dad and we would go to TKTS and get tickets. But I saw, so many great I saw, of course, Annie.
Yeah.
I saw The Wiz, with Stephanie Mills.
Man.
I feel like, well, back in my day, we saw the very first talkies. Yeah, it was really incredible now that I think about how I was so lucky to get to see all of those iconic productions.
Incredible. Like now, I know this is. We're not going to do a now and then podcast, but one more thing of it was so great when we were little is like your parents could bring you to a play and not be broke for the next 3 months.
That's true.
Like now.
Or
like,
even McDonald's.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. It's so expensive to go to Broadway now.
By the
My
way,
daughter finds her way around it.
We
She's in
actually
New York.
didn't make it sound so great back in the day. We're talking about getting almost abducted and eating clams in the middle of Times Square. So it's not like we're like, wow, you kids missed it.
No, but just as a price point.
Yes, as a price point, to be sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, my son gets around too. He does his thing.
Yeah.
He's more conscientious about money because he has to be than I did. I felt like we could just afford to do things.
Right.
Like there were cheaper options at the time.
Yeah.
And now you must have to sell your house to get.
It's insane.
We went to Disney recently. My sister and her kids came into town. We went to Disney, and I'm just looking around going, I mean, we hadn't been in years, and I'm thinking, wait, hold on. Lunch was just what?
Yeah.
How are people, what is happening?
I have the same thing. I was at a Dodger game, and someone bought my ticket for me, like it was a work thing, and I just looked at what the prices of it was like $1,000 a ticket for a regular season game, and I'm looking at this sea of people. I'm like, how did everyone? How did we all?
And then parking is probably, I hate this kind of conversation. Anyway, how are your hips? Are they good?
No, but it is insane.
Yeah.
It really is like grossly insane.
Where did you grow up?
New Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah. Right across the river, or in between both of your
places.
places.
I know about the river.
Yeah, you by the river.
Oh, I cross that river all the time.
When I was a boy,
I
watched Four Seasons.
Ah, yes.
Which was an Alan Alda film.
Yes.
And I was probably, I don't know, junior high?
I was 11 in 81. It came out in 81.
Yeah. So I was in 8th grade.
Okay.
And I mean, it's a pretty sophisticated movie for an 8th grader to watch. But I remember watching it with my friends, like repeatedly.
Yeah.
I don't know if it just came out on cable or whatever it was, but we had access to it and we watched it over and over again. It was so special. That movie was so special.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
I was telling Alan Alda about this phenomenon, and he was so surprised because Tina Fey said the same thing. She said, I don't know why. I watched this film as an 11-year-old.
Yeah.
And I, too, and it must have been on cable one summer over and over and over.
Yeah.
But I also, that didn't mean I had to sit and watch it, but I did.
Yeah.
And I think part of it is because the tone of it, well, for one thing, I didn't... Entertainment in my world as a child was not broken into, now this is for you, this is for children, and this is for adults. It was just, my family loved comedy. If comedy was on, comedy albums, be they appropriate or not, we would listen. It was just comedy. And so if, a movie came out that was great, we watched it. It wasn't, you shouldn't see this because you're a child.
It is amazing. We weren't fed all of this kid stuff.
Yeah. It wasn't like.
And then you have Carol Burnett, Alan Alda, that cast. Just insane. My Mercedes.
I know.
We were just kids like on the way to the pool,
and
just
Rita
screaming.
Moreno.
My Mercedes is thinking.
I forgot to ask if they did that. I mean, they obviously did that practically, and that must just be sitting at the bottom of that little lake.
Right. Yeah, exactly. The actress who played your role.
Yes.
What was her name?
Sandy
again?
Dennis.
Sandy Dennis. God, she was special. The 70s had those films had those Sandy Dennis characters who worked a lot, who just were emotionally just like available.
She was just a nerve, just a raw nerve.
Yeah. So when you get called to audition for that, I'm sure the journey is a little different than what I see, which is, that makes perfect sense. You have that same kind of you're vibrating, comedically vibrating is the way I would put it.
That's a compliment, I must say.
Yeah.
Thank you, because you don't want to be comedically dead.
No, but there's like a quirk. There's a quirk that you have that she had. You're very different in some ways, but Were you intimidated?
Oh, I'm still intimidated by it. I can't, I couldn't believe I got even the audition. And I really thought it was probably that, I mean, no offense to the casting world because, you know, they're who employ us, but I really assumed that this was meant for somebody and that they were just going through the exercise of bringing people in. I don't know for what, but that happens sometimes. I'll bust my butt on an audition and then find out, oh, this was all along meant for so-and-so.
This was meant for so-and-so. They couldn't make the deal. They needed
couldn't make the
options
deal.
so they could to pay them less money.
Right, or some kind of leverage or something.
Yeah.
But I really never imagined that it was a real situation, which is, I think, why I wasn't as nervous as I probably should have been.
Do you have to put yourself on tape? Or did
No,
Really?
Sherry Thomas is doing in-person auditions. And if you don't know Sherry Thomas, she is the mother of all mothers of casting directors. And just getting to go in for her because she does, you know, Handmaid's Tale and these, you know, incredible pieces with such depth that are not just, you know, the sketch comedy sort of world I've been in.
Yeah.
So I was thrilled just to get to audition.
That's amazing.
And I assumed by the nature of the Sandy Dennis role in the film that it would be a smaller part, that she would really sort of disappear.
Yeah,
And and I didn't know until I got the part that, and the script started rolling in. Oh my, I kept saying, oh, well, this is the episode where I die. Clearly, I will die.
Right, yeah.
And I didn't die. I couldn't believe I didn't die.
And just kept coming back.
Yeah.
So you had no idea when you got it how many episodes you'd be in.
Well, no, that is untrue. I knew by nature of it that I was contracted to do 7 out of 8 episodes.
Oh, wow.
But to me, that meant that they were hedging their bets. Like, let's keep her nearby in case the real stars get sick and we need to do a scene with her.
Right.
But certainly not that I would have the breadth of role that I ended up having.
Oh, man, what a treat.
I can't believe it still.
When you, I don't want to give too much away from the journey of it, but that, when you're unwrapping the my wife and I were just cringing, just like, oh, our heart broke for you. It was just like, because you could see yourself being in that kind of a situation. You think it's so hopeful, and then it just keeps going on, and you know it's not going well. Oh my Lord!
The writing is you know, it feels like every actor's dream, the writing, but also all these bits that I got to play feel like monologues from the next book of actors' audition monologues.
Yeah,
and
right.
even these moments of, like you say, the unwrapping scene at the bar.
Yeah.
Even that, just the time that they allowed that to play out. Kudos to them, because a lot of people would say, okay, we need to get on with the business, get on with the story.
Yeah.
But in that moment, to them, that was the story, and it served its purpose.
It really did.
Poor Anne.
It was so awkward. Did they drag out the audition? Did you get it?
No, so I had the initial audition was just with Sherry Thomas in person, and that was my first in-person audition since before COVID.
Yeah, I haven't been in one.
No, it is just not happening.
No,
so I was just happy literally just happy to be there. Just happy to be in a room, something to do.
Yeah, you get a little pass and you get to park your car.
Yeah, you get to park your car.
God, and go see people. What a dream. That was a dream. And then about a month later, maybe they said, we're going to do a Zoom callback with Tina, Tracy, and Lang. And that's when I started to get scared, you know, like, oh, this isn't just a Make-A-Wish situation. I really am getting to have a shot at this. Right.
And that I did from home with Sherry Thomas. And then pretty soon found out after that.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That's so nice.
I know. I'm happy for that. I'm happy for me.
Me too. I mean, it's such a strange. I have a good friend of my daughter, who's my other daughter's 22, 23, and she got a job at a really good casting agency, and she was so excited here in LA, and she was so like, this, you can't believe it.
Yeah.
And went in, and she was the only one in the office.
Oh my gosh.
Even the head casting person, everything just on tape, Zoom, and she was just so depressed. She thought she had made it to this like show business, really great space, and she was the only one. Her job was to open the office.
It's such a shame because it's such an important part. So I've been on the other side, with Reno 911. I'm one of the creators and showrunners. So we did all the, with Julie Ashton, our brilliant casting agent, we did all of the auditions with the actors.
Right.
So myself and Tom Lennon and Ben Grant would sit in a room and we would call people in, all the brilliant people would come in for UCB and Groundlings, and we would say, okay, hi, did you call the cops or were the cops called on you? Which one of us do you want? Let's go. And we would improvise with them. And it was so important chemistry is so important, and just seeing how someone is in a room and how they, and also just as an actor, I am not a lighting professional. I don't know how to do sound. I'm barely able to put on a blouse. It's just, it's not my forte.
I know. You've got to get the sound, the lighting, the should I sit, should I stand?
And then I'm pre-recording my own voice sometimes, and I'm talking back to myself. It's a mess.
It's a mess. I hate it. Rachel and I did one in here this last week.
You did
We did pretty good.
Yeah, you crushed it.
We'll never hear from him again.
Hey, you don't know. Look what happened to me. You never know.
No, you never know.
Sometimes you do.
Here's the thing, because you were on the other side of it. You pretty much know in the first 2 minutes. I feel like there should be a first round of the auditions, especially on tape.
Yeah.
Where say hello to us and tell us what you're up to. Give us a couple minutes. And they go through and they say yes, no, yes, no, yes. Because they can tell. You come on, they're like, we love them, but not now. They got a funny haircut, they gained some weight, whatever.
But don't you feel sometimes like there were some people that I felt they warmed up. And I said, oh, this is who. Now, then there are people like Niecy Nash and Wendy McClendon-Covey and Cedric Yarbrough and Carlos Ozraki who walk into a room and you're just like, what is that?
Yeah.
I mean, Niecy came in. I don't know if you ever heard the story of her audition for us. She was late and she came in. So I don't know if she was purposefully unprepared, but it was the most brilliant audition I had ever seen in my life. You can't even call it an audition. She walked in and took over the building. She started doing this character. She explained why she was late, what had happened with her car, what had happened with her mother that morning, and it just, I fell, hand to God, I fell off my chair laughing.
Oh my God.
Hand to God. She later told the story on a talk show. She said that someone asked her mother asked her when she got home, how did the audition go? And she said, well, I made a white lady fall off her chair. So I think it went pretty well. That kind of personality, Wendy, the same. Just
they walk in
and you're just like, who are you? I want to know you. I want to do everything with you. I don't necessarily walk in like that, but I guess it depends on the role.
You would always hear stories of that, right? When you were first coming up of like so-and-so. I remember like Jay Moore went in and auditioned for Jeff Foxworthy's show. Okay. And they said that he just walked in and everyone's there with their script and online. And he walked in and did a whole bunch of you might be a redneck jokes.
Oh my gosh.
For Jeff Foxworthy in the room and just starts killing. And I don't know if this is true, but I think it is. Jay was so gutsy at the time. He's killing. He's doing these redneck jokes for Jeff Foxworthy. Yeah. And he just opened the door to the rest of the actors and was like, you guys can all go home.
Stop.
I got it. And closed the door. You would hear those stories. And I always wanted to be one of those stories. But
you're that guy or you're not.
Exactly.
And I think if you're going to try and put on that guy, I don't think that's going to go well.
No, that's not going to.
Which is why I really try and just show up how I am, who I am. Because otherwise, I mean, it's one thing, you fail a lot.
Yeah.
But as long as I'm failing as myself.
Yeah.
But if I'm failing as some big whirling, tap dancing lunatic that I'm not.
Yeah.
I think that would make it sadder when you're going home and you're taking off the feather boa, just sadly sticking it back in the Amazon bag.
What years were when did you start the state?
We did the pilot in 2000.
In 2000.
And then the most recent project was 2 years ago. We did a Christmas movie.
Right.
That was our third.
So 2000, and you were all friends from school.
Tom Lennon and I met at Northwestern Summer Theater Camp when we were 16.
Amazing.
And then we met Ben the next year at NYU when we started the State, the new group, which became the State. And the State has been working together for 37 years.
Amazing.
I just came from the Tribeca Film Festival. Matthew, let me just say, this poor guy, this incredible director of our documentary that just premiered at the Tribe, it's called Long Live the State. The man's name is Matthew Perniciaro. I have been saying in the press, Matthew Pernicairo for 2 months. Anyway, Matthew, your film is fantastic. And we just had an incredible reunion at Tribeca last week.
That's so great.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
37 years.
I remember knocking around New York as a young stand-up and hearing about you all. And you were going and killing. Where would you perform live?
Oh, we did just theaters, little tiny theaters, like
Lower East Side.
Lower East Side, but a lot of NYU theaters.
Right.
And then also we played at a Violets basketball game. That's always great for sketch. We tried to do Washington Square Park one day.
Oh, yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Just little clubs, little theaters.
Yeah.
I think most of them aren't there anymore. But
was it MTV that picked it up first?
It was, in 92.
92?
Yeah. That's when we started out as the new group when we were at NYU. And then when we went to MTV, we changed our name to the State, as if that name is any better. I don't know.
But I remember it being very cool. I started in 93.
Okay.
And so it was...
So we were kicking around the same time there. Yeah. And our offices were up in Times Square.
Oh, really?
At MTV.
Clam strips?
Clam strips were gone, I believe. At that point, no more clam strips. I had grown up a lot by then, Tom.
Yeah.
But our office was the TRL studio. What became the TRL studio.
Oh.
That room was our office.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's quick that you guys... Who found you guys?
Well, Doug Herzog. At Comedy at MTV. Lauren. I mean, it was like back then. I thought of them as these older people. They're grown-ups. They wear suits, and now I look back at the pictures. They were kids working at MTV essentially.
Yeah.
Jim Sharp was our producer, and then he of course went on to work at MTV, Comedy Central, and but we were all just kind of, because who hires kids right out of college for their own television show?
I know, but it was a cool time. There was like a lot of. It was a creative time in New York.
Eileen Katz.
Yeah.
It was. There were so many cool people working then, taking risks, taking chances.
Yeah.
With these young groups, it was very punk rock.
Yeah, and you guys were so funny, and I remember because you're just eager to digest anything that was going on, and you guys were like, "Oh, this is cool." It kind of felt like you were going to be like our Kids in the Hall, like the New York version of that. And it was like, okay, they're doing something cool.
Except there were 10 times more of us.
Yeah.
We had plenty to spare.
You had a lot.
We had plenty to spare.
Yeah.
But none of them fell off, so.
This episode of Breaking Bread with Tom Papa is brought to you by Wild Grain. Wild Grain is the first bake from frozen subscription box for artisanal breads, pastries, and pastas. Wild Grain boxes are fully customizable to your taste or your dietary restrictions. They're really great. We love Wild Grain. They've recently launched a new gluten-free box and a plant-free box that is 100% vegan. Joe will be so happy. Best of all, they take the hassle out of baking since all items bake from frozen in 25 minutes. And this is what makes Wild Grain so special. I've ordered, I've gotten, I stick it in my freezer. Breads, pastas, some cookies, things like that. I come off the road. I don't have time to bake. I barely had time to breathe or feed my sourdough starter. And I'm making dinner, and I need bread, and I need some good stuff. And look, you can get by and make a dinner without having special, great artisanal things, but you crank up the oven, and in 25 minutes, you're going from frozen to putting it out on your table, and everybody gets to enjoy these amazing breads, these amazing pastas, a little cookie afterwards, perhaps, croissants, and it's really good quality stuff. It really, truly, truly is. I would not have them on our podcast if I didn't wholly believe in Wild Grain, and all their stuff is just, it's really good, and it's there, and it's just waiting for you in your freezer when you go in and you order. Just go to the website, go to wildgrain.com, and just poke around and tell me that you're not going to be excited. It's really, really good stuff. So if you're ready to bring your favorite carbs right to your doorstep, all you have to do is go to wildgrain.com. And our listeners, limited time, $30 off your first box, plus free croissants with every box. How about that? Wildgrain.com/Papa. Start your subscription, $30 off, plus free croissants in every box. Very exciting. So go to wildgrain.com/Papa. That's P-A-P-A. Wildgrain.com/Papa, or you can use the promo code Papa at checkout. And truth be told, I am staying in an Airbnb right now. I have no wild grain, and what am I going to, I'm going to make pasta, and the only option I have is an English muffin. That's not going to be good. Life would have been so much better if I had wild grain. Does your freezer look like a crime scene of forgotten leftovers? Mine did, until I found ButcherBox. ButcherBox delivers top quality, responsibly sourced proteins right to your door. No mystery meat, no sketchy sourcing, just better options at your fingertips. I have to say, this really is. I have this big freezer in the garage, and at one point I had gotten a lot of stuff, a lot of meat from a friend of mine, and I didn't realize, I know this sounds really stupid, but I didn't realize that frozen stuff doesn't last forever. Is that a dumb thing to say?
No, that's the illusion we all have.
It's kind of the illusion, because you're not going to cook it, but you're not going to just throw away frozen blocks of whatever.
Right.
So my freezer was just filled with a lot of nasty stuff. And then when ButcherBox sent me a bunch of stuff, we went with the chicken and the beef. And you just go in there and you pull out chicken thighs, or you pick out a steak, and you know that it's fresh. And I have to say, it is fresher, because I've opened up some of the stuff that I left in the freezer, and it wasn't good for me or my belly. All ButcherBox proteins are sourced from partners who meet strict animal welfare and sustainability standards. That's always good to know. That means no antibiotics or added hormones ever. So whether you're feeding a growing family or trying to eat clean without the stress, ButcherBox offers curated or fully customizable plans that fit your schedule and your preferences. Right now, ButcherBox is offering our listeners $20 off their first box and free protein for a year. So go to butcherbox.com/Papa to get this limited time offer and free shipping always. That's butcherbox.com/Papa. Don't forget to use our link so they know that we sent you. It's a great way to have great food at the ready in your home, and a great way to support our podcast. You guys are the best. That did you see the Peewee documentary?
I sure did.
Was that experimental theater part that you were talking about?
Yes, very similar.
Yeah,
very similar.
Avant-garde,
yes.
Kind of just whatever.
Yes, we were naked, rolling around on the floor a lot.
Right.
Doing, we used to call it breathing out of your ass. I mean, It was phenomenal.
Yeah.
It was character development and
level of freedom.
Being comfortable in your body. And it was that time in New York City. I'm so grateful for that whole experience. Just incredible teachers. And
did you grow a lot in that environment?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I was playing music at that time, and the new group was happening, living in New York City in the late 80s, early 90s, and in that environment in the East Village, it just was, I'm so grateful for that experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How'd you like the doc?
I thought it was gut-wrenchingly beautiful. How about you?
Same.
Yeah.
He was a huge influence.
Yeah, me too, and became a friend later in life.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You were friends with Peewee?
Yeah, so he did, I think he may have reached out to us. Don't quote me on that.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow, he did the Reno, first Reno movie.
He did?
He played Nick Swardson's father.
Oh.
Yeah. And we became friends there.
Whoa.
And I just...
What year, do you know around what year?
Worship that man.
That would be?
Once again, all the gummies that I do, it's so hard for me to remember dates.
Yeah.
Because I'm high a lot because I'm cool. When
it
I'm
was
not
after
out
Reno.
hacky sacking.
Reno was how many years?
No. This was Reno.
Oh, this was during...
This was our first Reno movie.
Which was like when in your
So
run?
in our run, good Lord.
Like halfway?
This would have been, let's see.
I'm going to keep asking you. I'm going to keep asking you number
questions. It must have been around, because I think I had just had my son. So it has to be about 20 years ago.
Got it.
Yes.
Reno was on for how long?
Well, we kept coming back.
The
original ended. Oh, Tom, don't do this to me.
You can ballpark
someone have an
it.
abacus? Good God.
Yeah.
10 years?
I'm just trying to frame it with Peewee, like where he was at.
Oh, well, let me tell you, it was sort of like he was very happy to be there. He, I think, was just starting to come back out into the world,
Right.
like getting his legs again and feeling like, yes, people love you.
Yeah.
Come do these things.
Yeah.
But he had not been out and around, I think, at least, very visibly at that time for a while.
Yeah.
My husband had worked with him on Murphy Brown.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my husband's
wow.
a cinematographer. He had worked with him on Murphy Brown.
Oh, they showed that scene in the doc, actually.
Yes, exactly.
He was, he was so loved. That was the weird thing about watching the doc. He was so loved, ran into this trouble, but that's not how the public saw him.
Yeah, and it wasn't his trouble. It wasn't real trouble. It was, that's the other thing was, I would get like a mother protective of him when somebody would say, wait, they would see that he texted me and they would say, yo, you're friends with him. Didn't he? And I would go, stop. No, he didn't.
Yeah.
There's no reason why no.
Yeah.
And it would absolutely break my heart, especially the type of person that he was. And then going to his memorial service, if you could call it that. It was a celebration, but seeing this just airplane hangar essentially filled with people that just loved him, and you realize I felt so close to him. I was nowhere near close to him when you look at the amount of people that he made feel that way.
Right.
So many people felt like you're the only person in the room. That's how he made you feel.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So you became tight after it. You were.
Well, I don't know what you would say.
You texting and you were like pals and.
Yeah.
It's so great.
But
I would love to have gotten a text from him. I bet even his texts were special.
Yeah, his texts were special, but he texted, not to make you feel bad, but he texted a million people. He really was like, he would bring you into his world like that, and he just sort of collected people.
Amazing.
Yeah.
What was weird about and maybe it's just where I was at in my time, I don't remember the second charges, like all that stuff. Which I don't even want to give oxygen to.
Yeah.
But like that part, I don't even remember.
Good.
It was just that first one when he, got caught in the movie theater. But the other one, I don't think it ended up sticking as much as thought. But I mean, just that, it's complicated.
It's complicated and doesn't need to be because anyone could say anything about anyone.
Which is, he was correct in that going back into the closet was actually pretty important for him to get his career. It was at that time. Like, if he had been out, he probably wouldn't have had the success.
Look, I was
in the environment that it.
I think you're absolutely right, which is so maddening to me.
Maddening.
But I
like
also was not close enough to him that I ever had discussions about that with him.
Yeah.
By any stretch of the imagination. I feel like the fact that he would feel close to people, but still didn't feel like he could share that kind of,
seemed
that
like
part of him.
Seemed like even like the closest of the close.
Yeah, it's just absolutely heartbreaking to me. But what a beautiful tribute to him.
He's so charming.
And I am so glad that he fought for how he wanted it to look and how he wanted it to be. I know that the filmmaker mentioned that it was difficult, but that was his story.
Yeah.
And I am glad that he
Me too.
That he felt that he was,
yeah, that he got to tell his story. He got to put the final thing on it. It was really, really special.
Yeah.
Oh, just the way he would talk and give that little look. He was so charming. He was just so little magical being. Can I tell you a secret?
He's so devilish. Yes.
Yeah, devilish.
Yes.
But it's like, like he's up to, and even the way he was doing it in the interviews.
Oh,
you don't.
So good.
It's not really me, or is it? Or
know.
maybe no, it's not, but it could be.
No.
You don't know. Like all that
just a
playful
playful
stuff.
little stinker.
Can I tell you a secret?
Yeah.
When I was in high school, I was an athlete.
Yeah.
I was funny, like I was class clown and stuff, but I was
you got to
athlete.
be both.
Yeah. But I couldn't do plays or any of that stuff because I was always an athlete. And this was Pee-wee's prime time when they show all the people dressing like him. There was a talent show at our high school, and my friend Marissa gave me her little bicycle, and I found a tiny suit, and I hosted the talent thing as Pee-wee, which was like, for me, it was like coming out as a performer.
Yeah.
Because I wrote sketches, I had like bits, I had all this stuff. I rode through the school, but it was all because of Pee-wee, because like I was doing his voice as All of America was, but that was like my first time like doing stand-up, was like doing it as Pee-wee.
That makes me emotional, because isn't that interesting? I'm sure the irony was lost on you at the time, but he did that character in a way, as you see in the documentary, to sort of express himself, but also protect himself in a lot of ways. And you were kind of using it to do the same, to say, I'm also this. Is this okay?
Right.
Is it okay that I'm this? It's not really me. It's a character.
Yeah, that's
but
right.
if it were me, would that be okay?
Yeah.
I think that's really kind of amazing.
Pretty amazing. He was special. Are you a country mouse or a city mouse?
I'm a city mouse.
You are.
I live in the country, but I'm a city mouse.
Yeah. Would you ever go back to New York?
I would like. We have been talking about also getting a place there again. Yeah.
Yeah, we do the same.
I think it just needs to be a little bit of both, because I do get squirrely, in both places.
I feel the same way. I'm like, and we've been having this discussion, my wife and I, since we met.
Yeah.
And there is no winner. There's
no
picking
winner.
It. Yeah, so let's just
no
go back
winner.
and forth like we did before.
And then you start to, I don't know about you, but you start to do that. You start to put, and then you're like, okay, wait, this is what this is going to entail.
What do you mean?
Just the logistics of believe it or not, they're not giving these places out for free, which I just found out.
Yeah, it's true. Well, I think
I was all ready to move into a brownstone in the West Village, and then I found out.
Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
I always take pictures of, like, they always have the placard outside, like, for sale.
Yeah.
I always take pictures, but I never call.
Yeah.
I don't even want to know how
I know.
expensive.
Just dream about it. Maybe that's something I could dream about.
That would be nice. Do you fly? Oh, you don't dream.
But tonight, when I take all those gummies, I'm going to be flying high. I'm not even going to have to close my eyes. It's just going to be happening.
Are you happy that I baked you this bread?
I am
this
happy.
Morning?
Now, let me explain something to you.
Okay.
Oh!
Oh, no.
I hate myself.
Uh-oh. Is it rhyme with mootin'?
I got to say, it does.
It does?
But my husband and son will devour it.
Tell me what you're going to say.
I just don't even like to. It's so I can't have gluten. I'm not celiac.
You're not.
No, I'm not celiac, but I haven't had on purpose gluten for the last 8 years.
8 years.
Couple times that I've had it, I get real swollen. It's so boring.
Wow.
I don't like to talk about it. I don't like to
I
be
know,
it.
Yeah.
I'm cool. I'm tough. I smoke 2 cartons a day. I eat Snickers bars. I'm from New York City. That's the me I want to be.
I know.
But instead, I'm just the lady that doesn't dream, doesn't eat gummies, and can't have gluten.
I want to be the guy I want to be the guy with like a backpack and a camera that just travels that way. I'm not. I
Just
have to
pull out your wet journal every now and then and draw a picture of a heron.
roll my own cigarettes. No, I get to a place and I'm like, where's the Cheesecake
bidet?
Factory?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to feel comfortable.
Someone come heat up this bidet.
We do a thing on this program called an uncomfortable moment.
Didn't it already happen?
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe.
All right.
A lot of times in this business, it's it's luck, it's auditioning, it's being seen by the right people, all that kind of stuff. Sometimes you have to put stories out there and start your own. You have to be your own hype man, woman. This is what I've been doing, and I know. I guess it's somewhat of a manifesting situation, but I guess in public. So I put it out there that when season 2 of the 4 Seasons comes back, I get to play your love interest.
I don't see why not. I don't understand why we're sponsored by Elmer's glue. That's the only part of it I don't get. But this makes perfect sense to me.
Right?
Absolutely.
I think we would be good together.
Hey, why not? Toby Huss. That happened.
Right?
Are you willing to show your entire butt?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
You know what? I feel like it's weird that I'm making the call, but you're in.
Thank you.
We'll text Tina about it later. I'm sure she'll be fine.
She would be cool with it.
Totally.
Will it come back?
We're back.
You're back?
We are.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, they've been in the writer's room for 3 weeks now, I think, and we start shooting again in the fall.
Holy Toledo. Congratulations.
Last season we shot in Hudson Valley, and so that was amazing.
Oh,
and I would
that's so
assume that's
great.
where we'll be, yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. So this has to happen quickly.
Yes. So get everything shaved up or whatever you need to do.
How much did you love the role?
Oh, I mean, I loved it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love her.
What's your favorite part of her?
I love that I can sink into it. I don't have to put on something, if that makes any sense. There are I get cast sometimes as the sort of know-it-all, and I don't. And those outfits are uncomfortable. Know-it-alls wear uncomfortable shoes and tight pants. And she wears comfy sweaters and her hair is a mess.
Yeah.
And she's surprised by everything. And so all I have to do is show up and react.
Yeah.
And be
She
my
has a power
age.
though. She
has a power, and I think
Yeah.
she may come into more power. I would assume she's at least trying to find what her power is.
Yeah.
Moving forward, but I know nothing about what's coming next, nor do I want to know.
Right. How long did it take for you and Steve Carrell to stop fighting on set?
It hasn't stopped. I just heard from his lawyer on the way in here right now. I want to say the 9th lawsuit. He's impossible to work with.
Yeah. He's kind of, I guess, the opposite of Paul Rubens.
There we go. There we go. Yeah, Steve, I mean, come on.
Yeah, he's
a
great.
dream.
Yeah.
He's just such a mush. He's a dream. And I, almost every scene I had to stop myself from just in the middle, just breaking and going, oh my God, you're Steve Carrell. Coleman Domingo, what are you doing? Tina Fey. It's still shocking. And I need to stop saying that because it's getting a bit ridiculous.
You deserve it.
But no, that's not what I mean.
Yeah, I know.
But after a while, it's like, get over it.
I know, but can I give you from the outside?
Yeah.
From the outside world? I know what you mean because I've been in situations where you're like, you watch yourself like when it comes out or whatever, and you're like, how did that happen? How did I get with those two people?
Yeah.
But anecdotally, from the outside, it's the most non-surprising thing. You completely, you should be there with those people.
I thought you were going to say you complete me.
You complete me.
That's maybe a step too far.
That's if I get
really,
to be a part
really
of this next season.
Okay.
No, but really,
but
honestly, and I'm not blowing smoke. It's
you.
like literally just watching you for so long in so many funny things. And you completely are a peer of those people.
Thank you. Well, next season when I come back here, I am going to be so full of myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I know. Then you will have people. Sometimes we get people that bring people.
Oh, all my people. My people are going to have people. And I'm going to say, of course I'm in this. Of course I'm great in this.
Can I ask a fan question? Because
sure.
I don't know the answer to, and I'm sure you talked about it a bunch, but I don't know. How do you go from the state to Reno? How did that
happen? Do you mean?
Yeah.
So Viva Variety was in between.
Okay. Oh, I forgot about Viva Variety.
Which was my favorite show we ever did.
That was really fun.
It was very short-lived.
Yeah.
There's no reruns because the bands, we had Run DMC, and I mean, you could not afford the music anymore. It was, we had Duran Duran. I mean, it was insane.
And where was that on?
Was it Comedy Central?
That was Comedy Central.
And that was a fake European variety show. Tom Lennon and I played Mr. and the former Mrs. Lopan. And the conceit was that we were huge in Europe.
Yeah.
And we were gracing your presence in America. And Michael Ian Black played Johnny Blue Jeans.
That's
with only a minimal understanding of American culture. But like 20 years too late. It was such a fun show. The look of it, my hairstyles, we had, water fountains coming out of my head, and I got to wear one-of-a-kind couture gowns, and we chain smoked. It was so fun. We got to do musical numbers, and Stacy Keach and Whoopi Goldberg and Shelley Long and Nell Carter. It was a blast. So that was in between.
Yeah.
And then Tom, Ben, and I wrote a sketch show for Fox, and they did not pick it up. What happened was, by the time we got to the table read, they said, "Yeah, we're not as into this anymore." And so Tom or Ben said, "Well, what if we just did we've spent all the money now. We can't, switch gears on writing something new. Mm-hmm. What if we spoof something already on Fox, which is Cops? So we'll rent some cop uniforms." We called the cast. Now, we had hired the cast that you know of as Reno 911 to do a sketch show. They were not hired to do Reno. Reno didn't exist. So we called them and said, "This is crazy, but we're going to get fired. So would you like to try? Have you ever done improv?" Some people said yes. Some said no. We had not. So we said, we're going to try this. We're going to just run around with a camera. We're going to improvise a spoof of Cops. And we did. And
was this with the backing of Fox or anybody?
This was with the backing of Fox. They
did.
I think they sort of went, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Whatever. You guys are still here? So we did it, and they said, "Thank you. It's great. No, thank you." And they put it on the shelf. And
where'd you do that in New York?
That was here. No, that was here. Because we moved here with Viva Variety second season.
Got it.
Second or third season. So we said 3 years passed. And Comedy Central called, and they said, "We have a slow year. Is there anything? Do you guys have any ideas?" Because we had, had a couple of successes now for Viacom with the State and Viva. And we said, jokingly, yeah, we've got that pilot that's been sitting on the shelf at Fox. And so they bought it.
Wow. 3 years later.
Yeah. And thank God it happened the way it did, because at Fox, we would have been canceled in a week. And we would never have gotten away with what we got away with on that show.
Yeah, no way. No way.
I mean, Comedy Central did not give us a single note. They didn't even know we were still on the air. They're like, you're still airing? Fantastic. Yeah.
And just went off by yourselves. And
we
nuts.
did.
Yeah.
And it feels that way.
Yeah.
You know?
It was just so great. It was so good. But I feel like it was on a long time.
It was on a long time. And then we got canceled. And then Jeffrey Katzenberg called and said, I've got this idea. It's called Quibi. This is just before COVID.
Right.
And so we said, well, Jeffrey Katzenberg's calling. We don't care what the idea is.
Yeah. Just say yes.
We shot a season for them. Quibi obviously was a no-go. And then it was bought by Roku, Paramount Plus, and we did more episodes.
Right.
2 more movies, and...
God, amazing.
Crazy.
I think, was it Quibi I think you came on my radio show. Maybe it was when Quibi. Man,
let's just keep saying Quibi.
What a bust.
What a bust.
The timing.
My son still teases me about it.
If
we go into a grocery store, he goes, Mom, I think that guy recognizes Kerri Kenney from Quibi.
But I mean, they gave so much money to so many projects.
They were very generous.
Yeah.
And Jeffrey Katzenberg is an absolute angel. He was so gung-ho. It broke my heart. The whole thing, the timing, all of it for him.
It was supposed to be, people are watching things on their mobile because they're out and about, and then COVID hit, and no one was watching anything on your mobile device.
I mean, you couldn't have written a worse
story
for that. But we got it back, and
it's actually a good premise for a comedy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, not for him, but yeah.
Do you feel like, because all these things are self-generated, really, and then you get to audition and come in and have other people write and take notes and deal with the network and stuff. This is like...
I love it.
It's got to feel so light.
It's so wonderful to also this role is, the first time that people are getting to see me do any sort of dramatic work as well.
Right.
And so to be able to just focus, to just, all you need from me is to be Anne on your TV show.
Yeah.
And I'm not worried that we're going to lose the chicken by 4 p.m. or we're going to have to pay more for the chicken. Mm-hmm. And, what are we going to do if it rains on Tuesday? We're going to have to move the motorcycle setting on fire to Thursday. To just show up, and it reminds me of being back in drama school, where it's just show up and do your job, and your job is to deliver this character, full stop.
Yeah, and not have to have your mind anywhere else.
I love it all. I love all the jobs.
Yeah, that's fun.
But this one in particular, at this stage in my career, it feels like a grown-up job.
Yeah.
And it's getting response in a sort of we're getting it back at us. People are appreciating. It's making people feel good.
Yeah.
And isn't that wonderful?
Yeah. It's really funny. I mean,
their writing is just
And I'll be honest, because I love that movie so much.
Yeah.
It was like, what do they think they're doing?
Yeah.
Right? And when you love something that's
of course.
Does this have to be made into something?
You don't sing Janis Joplin. She did it.
Right. Yeah. And then it becomes it's just like the springboard for this contemporary comedy.
Yeah.
It's really. Do you still want to develop things? Like, do you write on your own?
I don't like writing on my own.
Yeah.
I will if I have to. But Tom Lennon and I write together.
He's always writing.
He's always
a machine.
Writing. So we've had something we've been working on for a couple of years. Yeah, I will always make my own work. With my partners. I think I enjoy it, but also sometimes it's the only way to get work is to make your own work and to have control and all that great stuff. And luckily we have a lot of people in the industry who we are friends with over the almost 40 years.
Amazing.
So we have a lot of homes that welcome us. We're very lucky in that way.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember I had interviewed Tom, and the amount he cranks out.
That brain never stops. He's just
What's wrong with him?
Brilliant. You can't help it.
Yeah.
When you're great, you can't help it.
Yeah. It just can crank great stuff out.
Yeah.
It's really, it was like, it was really like a lesson in, there are people who think they write a lot.
Oh.
And then
right.
there are people who write a lot.
No, our balance is ridiculous. My one joke to his 30 scripts.
Yeah.
I'm like, my joke was pretty funny, right? He's like, yeah, we cut that. Oh, okay, that's fine.
So you can't eat gluten.
Can we just keep harping on this?
No, I don't want to harp on it. But
what other things are not fun about you?
Say you have a birthday and someone wants to cook for you. And you're like, what I really would like to have is...
You know what? I don't say that ever. I also don't usually tell people that I don't eat gluten. So if someone invites me over for a dinner party and they say, do you have any allergies? I go, I'm good. I will make it work.
Right.
I will eat
Mush it up on the plate.
Eat this plastic leaf if I have to, but I don't like to make other people have to. Mm-hmm. Now, there's two schools on that. Some people say that's actually rude because the person wants to make you happy and they want to. I don't like that attention.
I know what you mean.
I just don't like to be like that. I'll eat the garnish. Food? Do I have a favorite food?
Do you like food?
I love food, but I'm a real simple gal, Tom. Mm-hmm. I'm a real cheap date.
Right.
Pretty much you can guess at each type of restaurant what my choice will be. Mexican restaurant.
Right.
The girl loves her 2 chicken tacos with the mild salsa.
Nice.
I was born in Fort Wayne, Indiana, so you have to cut me a little bit of slack.
Yeah.
I love, it's so sad. It's I'm not very adventurous. My husband is very adventurous with food, so he gets me out of my comfort zone.
Right.
My one of my biggest fears is like a tasting menu kind of situation, but then I always leave going, I didn't know I liked octopus, so it just takes me a little while.
Yeah. We had, for our anniversary, we did a tasting thing when we were in Hawaii. And my wife she has some fish, but mostly vegetarian. Yeah. And I said, when our kids ask, how was the big night out? How was the big tasting menu at this fancy schmancy place? My reaction is, your mother was worried. Every time they came and they were like, and now, she would be like, oh.
I would be exact same way with a big smile. This flambe of I don't know what.
Yeah, giving it to me.
Oh, wonderful. I am not eating this.
You guys eat it.
I don't love, there's certain texture. It's just a thing. So,
what's the worst texture?
Cottage cheese. I don't understand it. Why?
It is a weird one.
And guess what?
Yeah.
I've never had it.
You never had it?
No, but I'm mad at it and I don't want it to exist. And boba?
Yeah.
What are we doing? You don't suck things up a straw. It's a choking hazard.
We did Rachel and I did a video for, it was cottage cheese and blueberries on toast, which is a thing.
No, it's not. It is.
It wasn't so bad.
Really?
I always thought cottage cheese was like, I remember my mom being on a diet when I was a kid and putting it on Melba toast.
Yeah, she'd have a tab.
Right.
Cottage cheese, Melba toast.
Melba toast, remember that?
An after 8 mint and a Merit Ultralight. Oh, those were the days. Calgon, take me away.
Yeah. Never lost a pound.
No, I never lost a pound. Oh, my mom had one of those. It was one of those. It was a piece of wood with ball bearings, and she'd she'd twist while she was washing dishes.
Right.
Because it was supposed to make your waist skinnier.
Yeah.
I don't think that makes any sense.
No, they're not around now.
They're not around anymore. They're around as much as the machine that has the towel that shakes your belly back and forth. I don't think that really sold either.
Do you have to work out, or are you just naturally beautiful?
Well, oh, Tom, have we zoomed in? I should work out more because I'm learning. As it turns out, if we don't work out, we're apparently going to pass away.
No.
This is what I heard.
Really?
Let's bring in the doctors.
Okay.
I'm learning, like, ew, it's so gross to talk about. It's as gross to talk about as the gluten. But, like, yeah, osteoporosis would become a thing if you have to start doing weights. I don't want to do weights.
Do you have to? I feel like Sophia Loren didn't.
Thank you.
Right?
Did she die at 13?
No, I think she's
still alive?
Still around. Yeah.
I got to call her.
Cigarettes.
Yes.
Red wine, probably.
And just handfuls of butter.
Yeah.
I'm like Sophia Loren.
You're Sophia Loren.
So in other words, no, Tom. I'm just beautiful.
Good.
I don't work out.
There you go.
Please pass the butter.
And Steve Carell's lucky to work with me.
He's so lucky.
Do you still have a band?
I mean, no.
No.
I mean, yes.
I feel like
exists.
I saw you. Were you performing recently?
No, I was just singing a song with Dad Jam Band.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
which is so fun.
Yeah.
It's so fun. It's just like live karaoke and Ken Marino's voice is incredible and David's an amazing drummer. My band has not played live together since the 90s.
Right.
But I was just with the drummer last week. I mean, we would, of course, love to play again.
Yeah.
And they're talking about doing a vinyl reissue box set of all of our albums, which would be so fun. So never say never.
Yeah. Well, you're in Rolling Stone.
Yeah, whatever, guys. I'm in Rolling Stone, so don't make a big deal out of it.
Yeah. Jeez.
Make a big deal out
Are you ticklish?
I am.
You are? Where?
Oh, like armpits, of course, but then also like in here.
It's a good one.
I made you ticklish just telling you about it.
Yes, you did. Didn't you want to did you ever go to Paul Rubin's house that was in the documentary?
No. See, this
with
is
all the wild animals and everything?
No, and he would always say, like, I've got to have you over. Or I would say, okay, well, now we're hot. And he would say, I've got to come there. I've got to come there. But after I saw the documentary, I think it made me realize, I think he wanted that to happen. But really there was a very small group that he felt really safe doing that.
Yeah, and they were all animals.
But I feel honored just to know that it was even a conversation. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I can't believe it.
Just to be anywhere in the orbit of that human.
What animal don't you like?
Oh, I don't like snakes.
Yeah.
I'm as mad at them as I am at cottage cheese.
Imagine a snake with cottage cheese on it.
This starts arguments in my house. My son thinks they're adorable and they just make me angry. I don't understand them.
Yeah. What do you mean? He likes them? He
loves them, and then he sort of taunts me with the idea of them.
My friend gave me a snake as a present.
What?
Yeah. And it was a boa constrictor. And it was only this long when it started.
What are you saying?
And it was like cool. It was like, like a tiny version of a boa constrictor.
A real snake?
Real snake.
When was this? In the 60s?
Right out of college.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah.
I thought you meant like a couple years ago.
No. I was.
Because that's like restraining order stuff.
Yeah.
That's not a friend.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It didn't work out.
No.
It just kept growing. First, you have to feed a baby little. They would call them little preemie.
We don't have to go into it.
Little baby mice, like fetal mice.
Did my son get to you?
And then it would get bigger. No, he didn't tell me to say this. and then you have to feed them bigger life, and then it just kept growing.
Of course.
Really quickly.
Yeah.
And then it became just this giant snake.
What did you do with it?
In a fish tank. And every time you walk by it, it would try and bite you through the glass.
See, this just makes me angry.
Yeah. And I gave it back to him.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
In the night?
I just slipped it into his car.
Thank you for the gift.
He was crazy. He loved snakes so much that he built like a habit trail around his apartment that the snake could just go.
No, my band, Cake Like, we recorded in a studio in New York that had a snake. That was like the feature of the studio. I was so disturbed by it that I was like, is there a back entrance? When we were doing Viva Variety, there was an act. We had variety acts on, and there was an act, a guy that would zip himself into a sleeping bag full of rattlesnakes. And I was supposed to be the one to come out and say, everyone, the fabulous, blah, 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 and his crazy snakes. And I step out there like, okay, where's my mark? Blah, blah, blah. I got out there and I froze. I have never in my life frozen like that. And they're like, Kerri, we're rolling. And I was like, Tom came out, or Michael, one of them, and took over for me. I was so embarrassed, and I was crying backstage afterwards. And the snake handler came to talk to me. He said, I have to tell you, don't be embarrassed. He said, it's genetic. There is a gene in some people where you freeze up like that. I don't know if that's true, but it made me feel better because I was like, what is wrong with, like, how unprofessional? But I've got a thing.
Oh, it's weird. He really had real snakes in there?
Yeah, I don't know if they were still, like, if the rattles had juice.
Right.
What is it filled with?
Poison.
Juice? Poison juice.
Poison juice, poison snake juice.
I don't know.
Probably cottage cheese. Imagine if he just spit cottage cheese out of his teeth.
Spit cottage cheese out of his teeth. Now I'm going to have a dream.
This was so nice. Did you enjoy this?
This is so nice.
Yeah.
I
really
just
like
adore
spending
you.
time with. Likewise. Anything you want to know about me before we go?
Yeah, can I
Anything
stay?
that was on your mind?
Can I just stay a little longer?
When you were driving up, you're like, I wonder what his deal is with that.
I wonder what Tom Papa's take on... No.
You didn't think it. Well, thank you so much. This was really great. Congratulations on another season. It's fantastic.
Thank you so much, Tom. Thank you.
It's so great. I can't wait to be on set with you.
I know. That's going to be great. Let's get you waxed.
We got it, kids.